All right, today is day 2 of lesson 3.5, which is graphing linear equations in slope-intercept form. So we looked at slope, we know about slope. Now, how do we use slope to graph? I want to remind us about slope dude, right? We've got the puff puff positive line, the nice negative, the zero effort, and then the undefined. So I want to remind you of that. Remember, anything, 0 over anything is 0, but then a number over 0 is undefined, right? We can't divide by nothing. If this one kind of trips you out your brain, another way to think about it is if I have something, I can't just give it to no one, right? Like I can't do that. It's not possible. It will go to someone, at the very minimum, me. So our slope-intercept form is the equation y equals mx plus b, where y and x just stay the same. They're in every slope-intercept form equation ever, right? You've got a y, you've got an x. Our m is our slope. So we looked at calculating that. We know it's the rise over the run, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then our y-intercept is whatever's being added to it, okay? Whatever's being added to it. So let's take a look at identifying just our slope and y-intercept, all right? In this one right here, the slope is pretty easy to pick out. Slope is always with x. So if I look at my x, I can say, hey, I've got a -5 there. That is our slope. Our slope is this -5. So m is -5. Now, the y-intercept is whatever number is being added to it. So we are, in fact, I can rewrite this to say we have y equals -5x plus -1, right? I can do that. So it's this -1 that is being added to it. That is our y-intercept, or our b. All right? So we're going to go through and just pick out our slope and y-intercept for these. Let's do these two together. Actually, these two together. So our slope, who's hanging out with the x? 1/3 is. So that is our slope. M equals 1/3. And then, who is our y-intercept? Who's being added? Well, we're adding a -4. So that is our y-intercept. For number 20, this one's a little tricky because it's x equals 1. Well, this is a y equals equation, not an x equals. So I don't even know my slope, do I? Wait a second, let's look back at the top here. One of these had an x equals equation. Do you remember which one? This one's touching the y-axis, so this was a y equals some number. This one is an x equals a number. It's an undefined. So I do know my slope. My slope is undefined. Do I have a y-intercept? No. There is no y-intercept. Well, why not? Shouldn't it just be 1? Well, if we look at the graph, it would actually touch the x-axis at 1, not the y. So it has an x-intercept, but not a y-intercept. All right, let's do one more together. We'll finish off with this one. I know these x equals are a little kind of weird, but let's finish off with this one. So our slope, who's hanging out with the x? The -1/5. And then our y-intercept, we have a -4 that is being added. All right, I want you to try these next 4, and we will check our work in just a sec. All right, for 21, hopefully you found this 1/4 was your slope, which means the +1 is your y-intercept. For 22, our y-intercept is -1, and our slope is -2/3. For 23, our slope, this one's tricky, is a -1. There is a ninja number 1 hanging out on here, right? He's a ninja. And our y-intercept is +2. And for our last one, we have another -1 for our slope, and in this case, a -1 for our y-intercept as well. Okay, let's take a look at the next page. We are going to actually start graphing these. So now that we know how to find them, let's graph them. So for our first one here, we have y equals -4x. We always want to start with our y-intercept. Well, what is our y-intercept in this case? There is something being added to it. He's just a ghost. We are adding a 0, right? So let's just pick out our slope and our y-intercept. We know that our y-intercept is this nothing, because there's nothing being added. It's our 0. And our slope is this -4. Now, slope is always best in a fraction, all right? It's best in a fraction. So if you have a nice whole number like this, which is great, we can turn it into a fraction because there is a ninja hiding there, right? The ninja number 1 is in the denominator. And that negative can go either direction. I like to stick it in the numerator because I find it easier in my brain to move up and down than it is to move left and right. It might be my dyslexia, I'm not sure. But that's what I do. So for this guy, I am starting with my y-intercept. Well, my y-intercept is 0. So that means I'm going to put a point here at 0. That's where I'm starting. Now, don't move your pencil or your pen or whatever your writing instrument is, okay? You leave it there. The slope tells us how to move. Well, slope is this -4 over 1. Remember, it's rise over run. So I'm going to rise -4. Well, wait a second. How do I rise -4? That means I go down 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then a +1. Which direction is positive? Am I moving left or right? Which direction? I should be moving right. That's where the positive x is. Now that I've done my slope, I put my second point. All right? So let's connect this with a line. Do not give me a sloppy line, okay? Go get a ruler or some straight edge. Another piece of paper will work in a pinch. And we are going to draw the line. All right, that is that line. That is y equals -4x. When we start getting into like graphing multiple equations, it's really nice to write your line on there so you remember which one's which. So I just get in the habit now. All right, let's take a look at number 2. All right, let's take a look at number 2. So we are going to identify our slope, which is 10/3, and our y-intercept, which is 5, a +5. We always start with our y-intercept, so I'm going to put a point here at 5, and then I'm not going to move it. Okay, I'm leaving my pencil right there, and I'm not moving it. The slope tells me how to move. Well, I need to go +10, so up 10, and then +3 to the right. My graph isn't that big, though. What do I do? There is a way to rewrite this so that you have a -10 over a -3, right? Because a negative divided by a negative is a positive, but it helps us when we have issues with our graphs where they don't go quite that high. So we're going to leave our pencil here, and now we are moving down 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I need to go -3, right? -3. Well, which direction is negative, right or left? Left. 1, 2, 3. So there is my point, and now I am graphing it. There we go. All right, let's do a couple more together. So for this one, let's do this one next. We have an x equals 5. Warning, warning, warning. This is an x equals. X equals. Remember, those are vertical lines. So let's just find where x is 5. That's -5. Here's 5. And now I'm going to just draw a vertical line. Any point on here that is above it, that is on where x is 5, will also work as a second point vertical line. There we go. Ooh, not perfect. Pretty good, though. So that's our x equals 5. Just to remind ourselves, we already know how to do vertical and horizontal lines. Let's take a look at number 3 here. Let's take a look at number 3. First thing we want to do, determine our slope and our y-intercept. Well, our slope is negative, and our y-intercept is -3. Wait a second. Negative what? It has to be a number, right? He's a ninja. It's a 1, right? We have 1x there, a -1x. Now let's rewrite that so that it is a fraction. Slope is best in a fraction. So I'm going to do 1 over -1, just to show you the negative can go in the denominator. My brain doesn't like it, but it works. So we always start with our y-intercept. Our y-intercept in this case is -3. So I'm finding on the y-axis where -3 is. It's right here. I put my point, leave the pencil, And now I need to go +1 up and then -1 in the x direction. So that'd be left 1. So now that I have my 2 points, I connect them with a line. And you can keep doing this, right? You can go up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1, up 1, left 1. My line got a little crooked there. But the slope keeps working, right? It helps you find more points. It helps you find more points. So I want you to try these ones, okay? I want you to try these ones. And if you are not able to print and actually use graph paper, I have a separate video on graphing using Kami, okay? And it will work just fine for you because I'm going to require that you graph. All right, so hopefully you found your slope was -7/2. You found your y-intercept was -5, so you started here at -5. I would choose to move this to the denominator, so it would become 7 over -2, and that's how I would choose to do it. So that means I'm leaving my pencil here, going up 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I'm going left 2, 1, 2. And then I would connect those with a pretty straight line. And don't forget, your graph should go edge to edge. Okay, I haven't said that before, but your graph should go edge to edge. So you see how all of mine are going literally from one edge of the graph to the other. Don't give me a wimpy little short thing. Do a long one. All right, the next one, we've got a slope of 1/2, a y-intercept of 3. So where is y3? Y is 3 right here. And then I want to move up 1 and right 2, up 1 and right 2. Or I could go down 1 and left 2, down 1 and left 2. Because I could turn this into -1 over -2. So now that I have my points, I am going to draw a line, edge to edge, edge to edge, right, edge to edge. My line got a little off there. All right. I want you guys to try these two. Try these two. All right, hopefully you tried them. This one, our slope is -1/4. Our y-intercept is -3, so I'm starting at -3 on the y. And then I am going to choose to go down 1 and right 4. So down 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are my 2 points. Then I draw a line. For this one, our slope is -9. Our y-intercept is 4. So I'm starting at +4 on my y, and then I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait a second. This isn't a fraction. What do I do? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's really -9 over the ninja. +1. So I move right 1. And I connect those with a beautiful line. Nice straight ruler line. All right, for this one, let's do this one together because it's weird. So our slope and intercept. There is a slope. It's not just negative, it's negative what? -1. So I'm going to be down 1 over 1. And then for our y-intercept, ooh, this one's tricky. There is something being added, but what? Nothing. Well, how do we write nothing? It's a 0, right? We've got a +0 on there. So remember your ninja numbers. Remember your ghost numbers, as I like to call them. So that means I'm starting at 0, which is the origin, and then I need to move down 1 and right 1. Down 1 and right 1. The other way to do this would be to go up 1 and left 1. Up 1 and left 1. Doesn't matter which way you do it, you get the same line. That's what's awesome. So if you like to move left and right instead of up and down, you can move the negative. I just like the negative in the numerator. Up and down makes more sense in my brain. All right, for our next one here, we have a y equals 5. Y equals 5. So for a y equals 5, we need to find our slope, and we need to find our y-intercept. Well, there is no x, so how do I find my slope? Wait a second, is there no x? Interesting. Is there no x? We're adding 0x, right? So our slope is 0. So I'm going to rewrite this as 0 over 1. That's still 0. You could do 0 over 3 or 0 over 5, right? Anything over some number, 0 over any number, is still 0. 0 over any number is still 0. So then our y-intercept, what's being added to this? Well, if I rewrite it, I would have y equals 0x plus 5. That looks right in my brain. So then this would be a 5. So I am starting at 5 on the y-axis, and then I need to go up 0. So I leave my pencil here, and then I need to go right 1. Okay, so now that I have my 2 points, I connect them with a line. Remember to go edge to edge. That is my y equals 5. All right, there are 2 more graphs down here. Go ahead and give them a try. Okay, so for this one, we are going to do a positive 1, and then we go up 1 and right 3. And that is our line. And then for this one, we have a y-intercept of positive 4, and then our slope is a negative 1. So I'm going to go down 1 and right 1, down 1 and right 1. And then I connect them. All right, email me if you have any questions. The skills practice is posted to Big Ideas, and if you have questions about how to graph on Big Ideas, please make sure you ask me during a meet. Okay, I am happy to help.